What really annoyed me was the Labor Party going on the attack, bagging the Coalition's plan to provide small businesses with tax breaks for work-related entertainment and meals. Now, they just made this stuff up. And I spoke to a guy who works in my local coffee shop this week who used to run restaurants, and he told me that this would be the boon that the hospitality industry actually needs. But have a listen to how Labor tries to portray it as rich, wealthy bosses taking people out to drink lobsters, eat lobsters and drink fine wine. It was pathetic.
We're delivering on the cost of living. They only care about their mates' cost of lunching.
They said they were opposed to cutting student debt by 20%. And I promise you I'm not making this up. Their argument for opposing it is this, quote, "There are no free lunches in economics." Well, turns out there is, but only for the bosses.
After watching that rubbish all week, I thought I had to get back the Australian Restaurant and Catering Association CEO, Wes Lambert. We talked to him a couple of weeks ago. Wes, can we not have an honest conversation about this? You must be so frustrated.
Well, before I go into that, I'd like to wish my darling wife, Sophie, a happy Valentine's Day. But I am frustrated. I'm super frustrated at the Labor's lack of any small business experience. I've been in and out of restaurants and cafes since the announcement was made, and there's not a single restaurant, cafe, or small business that I can find in all of Australia that doesn't like this potential FBT policy. So, look, last time I checked, 2.5 million small businesses are run by mom and pops. They are not run by big bosses. We're thinking that maybe Labor is confusing those 2.5 million small businesses with the few thousand big public companies where there may be big bosses.
Well, as you and I both know, though, Wes, I mean, those big companies, so, you know, we can talk the big banks, the big accounting firms, KPMG, Commonwealth Bank, if they're going to entertain people, they can do it in their boardroom, they can cater in-house. Many of them have got, you know, in-house restaurants in their actual offices, and they can claim that as a tax deduction. So this infantile disinformation where they try and portray it as, you know, people sitting around in the Melbourne club smoking cigars and paying for, you know, the boss's lunch, it's just pathetic.
Well, it seems that Labor's just not listening. They're not listening to Creditor Watch that's now saying 1 in 6 hospitality businesses are at risk of closure in 2025. They're not listening to their own ABS that's telling them that the hospitality industry has been flat since the beginning of 2023. They're not listening to the ABS that's telling them that tourism is flat and down from 2019. They're not listening to the 2.5 million small businesses around Australia that are applauding this potential policy. And they're certainly not listening to the hospitality industry, who all want this potential policy to happen.
Explain in simple terms for us, Wes, how it would work in practice.
2.5 million small businesses around Australia that do less than $10 million a year will finally be able to take their employees out to reward them for a job well done. They'll be able to take their potential clients out for a lunch or a dinner to win that new business, to maybe become a medium-sized business, something that hasn't ever been able to be done. Maybe they'll be able to compete with the big businesses that the Labor government is talking about. But for now, it allows those businesses to be able to have those meals and entertainment, and they'll be deductible, much like big businesses, cafeterias and canteens and catering. And they will not be subject to any FBT penalty, which means for the first time, you don't get slugged with a penalty tax for rewarding your employees, for rewarding your customers, and for trying to win new business. And ultimately, this is for the tens of thousands of tradies out there that are all small businesses to take their crews out after a job well done.
Yeah, to a pub for a Palmer. We're not talking about going to Florentino, are we?
No, we're not talking about that at all. And to confuse this with big business, or to confuse this with a long lunch, is just really tone deaf from the Labor government.
Wes, thank you. We'll catch up again soon. Let's see where that goes during the election campaign.